This is a Mindustry video. I am Larifeticus and I am using my PvP brain against the Mindustry campaign. This is the second map of the campaign, Aegis. So I got started out with some stuff, not quite enough beryllium as usual, and it also starts out with a breach. I could decide to just deconstruct that immediately, but I'm not sure what triggers enemy attacks to show up, so it's probably safer to just keep it around, even though it'll slow me down a little bit. As soon as I get any units at all, though, I should probably just get rid of the breach and replace it with things that are useful. There is a little bit of map objective text to the left there, hidden. I could build a radar and reveal it right now, but I'm just going to wait until units come around. And there's not even really anything interesting happening on the unit front. I'm going to make 2 tank factories again. Once again, limited by the power availability events on the map. It's going to take like 5 or 6 more maps before you get a power source other than just the vent turbines. It really takes a long time for the delivery of new technology stuff to get going. It's sort of tough to do the math on the different kinds of wall because you have to put the blueprint of the sand crusher thing right there to see which kind of wall it is and how much it's making. Each silicon arc can use up to 4.8 per second. So then you got to do like decimal addition in your mind to figure out if you're at 4.8 or not. Probably easier to just be lazy about it, but whatever. All right, we got a nice everything on, well, not everything, multiple things on a belt. It's pretty safe to just do graphite and silicon on the same belt. Especially if the plan is to do router or underflows and feed that. I've got a whole row there that I can put unit factories depending on what I can afford. Will take a little bit of time to get the silicon and to go do whatever I'm supposed to go do to the left there. There's what? 4 tiles of titanium. So one of the bad habits that the campaign encourages is because the way you unlock things by saving up, and it opens up, it turns question marks into potential unlocks when you land on a map, not when you complete it. So a lot of times it makes sense to just land on a map, do all the research you feel like, and then abandon it and come back again with everything unlocked and your resources built back up. And that way I don't have to clutter up one of these videos with like looking off to the tech tree and hunting down which question marks have turned into gray things. Although, yeah, here's some of that anyway. All right, so we got water stuff opened up, and we got the impact reactor. And that's what's new. Not even any new units. Maybe diffuse turret opened up. I don't know. I'm not going to use that. It doesn't matter. Probably shouldn't be. If I were being maximally efficient, I wouldn't bother with the canvas or the message blocks or whatever. But I just can't leave things unclicked on if they have to be clicked on, even if they're expensive. Instead, I'll just click on them and then sit with the game running while I go to do something else for a while for the resource stockpiles to build back up. Not something that should be encouraged, but that's what it is. All right, there's my first tank. So let's go see what's out there. Go see what's out there. Come on. Okay. There's nothing. That's a mistake. Like, just going for 3 tiles of titanium to start doing it, especially with how the impact drills use a lot of power. And with the way that things are power constrained here, it really is wasteful. And oh, there's a real amount of titanium over there. I think eventually I'll just deconstruct that, but whatever. It'll get a tiny little bit. It also doesn't matter almost anything because you're not actually building anything with titanium in this whole map. It's just a map objective to get it, and then you move on with your life. There's another vent. That's nice to have. There's more green rock. That's nice to have. No electrolyzer yet, just water. The water can go into turrets if I bothered with turrets. Other than that, it's just for running the impact drills. Uh-huh. Build an impact drill, huh? Okay. It might be optimal to build 3 of them on that patch. I may end up doing that. And then they get the weird thing going on where you can do less power and get more water. Which makes a lot more sense when later on power plants open up and you can turn water into even more power. But you don't get that option for a while. So it looks like there probably won't be, there won't be any attacking until I either go to the, I don't know if there's an invisible fence to the north or not. There's something. Either there's a fence that unlocks when you get the 100 tungsten, or just going up there will start activating the enemy at base and attacks. But I should have deconstructed the breach right at the start. That would have been more optimal. And I should have skipped that first impact drill. Make sure the rally point is good up here. Power situation is a little strained. It is a nice change relative to Serpulo that power works differently. Most of the powered plants do not require any powered components to operate. And that's nice because if you hit low power, you don't hit a downward spiral and eventually gives you no power whatsoever, like on Serpulo. So there is more of a gradient of being wrong, and maybe you might even choose to operate at brownout power levels for a while. But on Serpulo, you make that choice, and everything's going to stop running immediately. There's a wall. There's a doorway. 1 enemy core. Right, so I guess we're going to get some tanks, and then we're going to drive in the door and ignore the wall, and that's going to be it. Now, once we do get that taken care of, we're going to have to spend a bunch of time just sitting on this map waiting for those impact reactors to do 2 tungsten per second. And the unlocks that open up from the tungsten here. There's the tungsten walls, that reinforced liquid container, whatever other things. And that's, on the order of thousands of stockpiled tungsten needed to unlock those. So the game is pretty much, because you only have the option of having 2 or 3 meaningfully productive impact reactors getting tungsten. The game's just basically telling you, all right, once you're done, sit here for 20 minutes so you can unlock all the stuff. It probably would be viable to move ahead without those things and let it catch up later. But I guess I've got 2 different parts of my nature fighting each other in that. Sort of the you can't leave something unresearched versus the just hurry up and be impatient already. 10 might be enough. Is there anything in this direction? Oh, there comes some tanks. I'd better do something about those. Maybe they'll blow something up. Okay, so they're going for a turbine. And I can sit there and tank repair it. And turn around. It is probably a good and interesting change that the player weapon is now a building heal and not just a regular gun. There were dumb things you could do on Serpulo with the player gun. Although it is amusing that many people starting out don't understand that, and they take the player beam and they start shooting at enemies and like, oh, why doesn't this work? This is dumb. Yeah, all right, so let's just go in there and be done with this. We got 2 factories. I don't know why bother putting the payload conveyors there. That's the end of those. Kill the tank. Kill the core. Did I lose? I didn't even lose any tanks. Ignoring those defenses. And that's a captured sector. So this one you do want to take the time to do the rebuilding after you've captured it. It's not the unit cap that you need though, it's the extra capacity, because this is the first place you can get tungsten. So, when you're going off to Bojangles for your lunch after you're done with this and you leave the game running for the slow trickle of tungsten to build up and do the research, you want that extra capacity so that you'll be productively doing that for longer. It's also nice that when you can recover a bunch of resources by doing this teardown process afterwards. There's more power. Might bother to build a few other productive buildings as well. You definitely don't need any more units at this point. You can go down and turn off the tank factories. So they'll hit unit capacity in like 6 or 7 minutes anyway. Supply limit. You are limited in your capacity to build additional supply depots. Which is probably reasonable. That will sometimes force you to build units other than what are the obviously overpowered ones. Either because, if you've got 1 core and you need to kill something that 15 locusts can't take, then yeah, you do have some slack to get, 15 regular tanks, 15 Marroy or Claroy or whatever. Hey, stop playing with that spring, you.